Good afternoon and welcome to CraftWorld Live. This is really exciting because we have not one but two brand new collections to be showing you today. We cannot wait to delve into the world of paper discovery, and you have the chance to win some bundles. So there's three winners from this hour. You may be watching over on CraftWorld or you may be watching on Facebook. Either way, if you just comment in this live feed, I'll try to keep up with the comments as much as possible as well. You are automatically in with a chance of winning a selection of these new products that I'm going to show you shortly. Not only that, we also have an amazing offer too. So if you're taking a look at the two new paper discovery collections, they are called Creative Castle and they are called the Nutcracker Collection. You'll be able to find them on craftstash.co.uk. If you're taking a look at them and you're putting things in your basket over on CraftStash and you're totaling up to sort of £30 or more, you can pop in a code. Okay, so the code is NEWPD. So NEWPD. Pop that in at checkout. You're going to get a massive 20% off of those items in your basket. Okay, we have lots of other deals for you and things as well. Let's just very quickly say hello to a few people that are watching, because I know you're already joining us. Thank you so much. So we have Geraldine, hello, coming all the way from Columbus, Ohio. Hello, welcome from across the waters. We have Julie Oliver from the Midlands. Good afternoon. I have to say good afternoon. It's not morning, is it? We have Mavis Edwards. Hello. Joe Crafty. I really hope that is your last name. I still need to find out from you if that's your last name, because that would be amazing. Sarah King from Barnet. Hello. Hello to, oh, we've got, is it Met? Is that how I'm saying your name? From Denmark. Good afternoon to you. Hello to June Prince. Hello. Oh, there's so many of you. Hello. Talk amongst yourselves, mate. By just commenting, just by saying hello, you are in with a chance of winning one of these three bundles. Let's see what you can be winning. Let's take a look down at my desk. So these are the two new collections. Now, I need to show you first of all, how beautiful is this? How amazing would it be to be able to build up your very own castles? Aren't they stunning? This is what we're making. Also, so let's start. Let's start with the first die set. So we've got the Creative Castle set. This makes those items that I've just shown you. It also makes elements like this. So you can cut down the die cuts to make smaller cards. This, I believe, is a 6x6 card here. So you can be using that. How much fun are they going to be? And of course, it all lays flat. You can squash it, lay it all flat to pop it in an envelope. This is amazing. This Creative Castle is phenomenal. So you can make large items or small items. We then have, with the Creative Castle collection, we then also have the lantern. The lantern is part of what just created this, but we've incorporated some castle elements in there as well. And then we also have, these are beautiful, aren't they? Absolutely stunning. They can be gift boxes, they can be lanterns. You can have a little lid on the top as well to lift that off there. Also, you can use just small elements to make smaller gift bags. They are just beautiful. I need to give a big shout out to the design team, particularly Pauline Hickey and Linda Parker. You have done an absolutely amazing job. Thank you so much. I'm sure Olga is extremely grateful because she's made some beautiful projects as well. We then have the elegant gates. I adore these. Okay, they are so pretty. You get two different sets of gates in there. And look, this is one of the projects that you can be making with the gates. So this is a card, but it opens up and you've got the three-dimensional gates in there. They are just absolutely beautiful, just cut from mirror cards there. And you have got a sneak peek at a fairy behind there. Also, this background has all been created with the Creative Castle set too. You're going to find all of these items over on CraftStash. So make sure you're popping over there after the live and have a look. And put in that code, NEWPD. You're going to get 20% off of these new items. We have two stamp sets as well. So we have the fairy one. So there's two. There's one that's seasonal and one that is really very mystical and magical with the stars. The seasonal one has the snowflakes in. So they are beautiful, beautiful stamp sets. They are also in the collection. Make sure you pop online. There's lots of photos. We're going to get videos up on CraftStash as well, so you can really see what you can be making with these when they arrive with you. That's the first collection, and then we're going to very quickly scoot through the second collection before we go over to Olga, and then we'll have a look at her demonstrations as well. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. They are, yes, they do, Trish, they are absolutely fantastic. They are so pretty. Now, the Nutcracker Collection, we have the beautiful Bring on the Dancers die set. These are gorgeous silhouettes. They're much larger than you see there. Let me just bring in a project. Look at this. That project is stunning, isn't it? So with those silhouettes in there, lots of the other elements that you're seeing in this card here, this diorama, are also included in the Nutcracker collection. We'll just have a quick look at those. So we have the setting the stage, that's those curtains that you just saw on that theatre scene. We have the Enchanted Forest, which is really, really beautiful. We'll look through some more examples in a moment. We have the Nutcracker Collection, which is the scenery die set. So this has got like the living room, the wallpaper, the windows, the dresser, the Christmas tree as well. You can see those, just the Christmas tree and the windows in the background there. Then we have an embossing folder, which is that Enchanted Forest again, but a different look at it. This could be a river or a path. And then we have another stamp set. So this is the Nutcracker Stamp Set. It's got things like the magic of Christmas, the Nutcracker dance like no one is watching, the most wonderful time of the year. I love this one. It's time for a little magic. And of course, you've got the Nutcracker stamp there. Let's just have a look at this card that Pauline's made using just that stamp set there. Really, really beautiful and very effective. So now that was a very, very quick whiz through the product. Don't forget, you're getting 20% off of these on CraftStash. But what we want to see is demonstrations. Let's have a very quick chat with Olga first, because what she's going to do is jump on the chat and be talking to you all in the comments on Facebook and CraftWorld. So let's say hello to Olga. Hello, how are you? How are you?
How are you doing?
Are you good?
Yeah, so
Excellent.
fine. So far, so good.
You are. Let me just turn you up because my computer's very quiet, so I can only just hear you. I'm sure everyone else at home can hear you fine. So, the new collections, 2 of them at once. We've kept
Yes.
you really busy.
So have two in one.
Absolutely. But they work so well together, don't they?
Yeah, of course, the castles and the fairy tales, they are all about the fairies and magic, so of course they all go together.
Perfect. Have you had fun, but firstly designing these and then making the videos and things for us?
Yeah, of course, they're just one of my favorite things. I think that fairy tales are always with us, and of course, I'm doing a lot of that with children. We are reading the books, and my one of my daughters, she also does the ballet, so she loves the Nutcracker
Oh,
in all ways.
lovely. So how old are your children?
Oh, I have three,
Oh, busy.
16, 10, 6.
Oh, wow. You've got your work cut out for you. I don't know how you find time to demonstrate and do your paper crafting and do all the amazing videos as well. But somehow you're like magic. It is like a fairy tale, isn't it? So, first of all, did you plan on bringing out these 2 collections together, or was it just coincidence that they happened to be quite close together and that they work together? What was all your inspiration behind these?
Uh, we initially planned them as 2 separate collections with some time between them, but I think since the Christmas is getting pretty close, it's nice to have them all at once and to start crafting and combining them, because when you're combining the 2, you will get many, many more projects than just using the one of them and then the other one. It's
Absolutely. There's so many projects that I'm sure you've seen photos online and things as well, where people are combining the 2. I've had such a ball playing with these. The next thing is I have a niece and she is 6 years old, and I'm going to be making her a big paper castle. It might take me a little while, but that's the next project. Hopefully I'll get a photo of that up when I've finished it in a few weeks. But you've got some amazing videos we're going to show very shortly. Do you have any projects there with you, or am I catching you short?
Yes, they're the ones that I'll be showing you soon. Here is this the big diorama, and it's totally foldable. This is the
Lovely.
tutorial that you're going to watch soon. And
Beautiful.
it's all about Nutcracker, and of course the stage, it was inspired by the Covent Garden
That's
Theatre.
amazing.
And yeah, we're also going to make this pretty lantern here. Hope I can light it up
We could
for
use the
you.
tea light in. Oh, and that's a fairy on the front there as well, with those gates.
There, it's not dark enough. A fairy and the beautiful gate as well. And
Beautiful.
by the way, I see a castle just right next to you. And do you know that you can use the same dice to make a pencil box?
A
I
pencil box.
mean, the box shaped like a pencil. This is the pencil top, and you create the additional, there is a die to create additional fold lines. So if you have this die set, you just, it's the task.
That's what it
You have to
was.
discover how to make a pencil with it.
That's what it was. I saw those additional scoring lines, and I wasn't sure what that was for. I meant to ask you, and now I know. So you can make large pencils from it as well. This is going to be so much fun. I just think the lantern and the castle together are just so beautiful, and there's lots more you can do as well. So thank you so much for popping in and having a chat. Oh, you've got
But this can be a stencil. You color this part, and you can make the colored pencil this way.
That is so clever.
Also,
Olga,
the opportunities really.
it's just so versatile, isn't it? The whole collection. Can we get a video of that, of you making a pencil at some point?
Yeah, of course, I'll try to make it, and then I'll publish.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to let you go because you're a couple of hours ahead of us, aren't you? So it's probably getting towards your evening time. And we're going to now have a look at your demonstrations that you've done for us today. So thank you so much for sending those over. And thank you for designing this and taking the time. If anybody doesn't know, Olga is all the way over in Ukraine. So we do have to work out the time difference. And she does an amazing job with all of her projects, her videos and photos. So thank you so much, Olga. You're going to jump in the chat now, aren't you? And comment on one of the feeds, maybe on Facebook or CraftWorld. So by all means, please, everybody go and say hello to Olga over there. Okay, take care,
Thanks,
Olga. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There's Olga. She is so talented. It's absolutely amazing. So, like I say, we do have the brand new Paper Discovery collections, Creative Castle, and we also have the Nutcracker, bringing you today from CraftStash. We have a fantastic discount code as well for you. So if you are spending over £30 on CraftStash on the new collections, that's either of the new collections as well, you're going to be able to put in the code NEWPD and get 20% off of those. That is huge. Something else I'm going to need to quickly tell you as well, because there's two things that the craft world have been eagerly awaiting, and we have them in at CraftStash. So first of all, the Gemini Midi machine is now on pre-order. It's available for you to pre-order to secure yours. And if you're pre-ordering today, whether it be the Midi machine on its own or the Gemini Midi as a bundle, you are going to get a free die set. And to celebrate new Paper Discovery, we are giving you a Paper Discovery die free with that order. So make sure you're doing that. That is a pre-order. So I have to say, if you are ordering Paper Discovery, the new collections, and you're ordering the machine, do it as separate orders, because otherwise your products might wait until your machine is ready to dispatch, and you certainly don't want to be waiting for these. So there's one thing. And then there's also the brand new Tim Holtz Distress Inks. Okay, have you seen these? Okay, very quickly, we've got the brand new colour. It's the Rustic Wilderness. Beautiful colours. We've got all of the items. So we've got all of the sprays. We've got all of the inks. We'll look at those in a little more detail later. I've got them all here, and I am playing. I'm going to be playing while you're watching Olga's video because I've already seen it. But there's some amazing bundle offers over on CraftStash. Make sure you check those out, because as always with brand new colours, they always sell out very quickly, particularly with those of you who do collect the colours. Now let's have our first look at this demonstration from Olga. I believe Olga is going to be using the Nutcracker collection first of all. So let's have a look at this.
Hi friends, in this video I'd like to introduce you to my new Nutcracker collection. It has everything you need to recreate the scenes from that beautiful fairy tale, as well as from the famous ballet. I'm gonna show you the products really quickly, and then we'll jump straight to the project. This collection includes 4 die sets, 1 stamp set and 1 embossing folder. The first die set is called Nutcracker Scenery, and it's meant to recreate the room where the fairy tale starts. There's a room with 3 windows, a cupboard and a Christmas tree. The dies are meant for A5 format cards, roughly it's 6 by 8 inches. They also have the tabs at both sides, and this way you can create the dioramas with them as well. The next die set is called Setting the Stage, and it contains beautiful theater curtains as well as the stage lights. We'll have a closer look at those two sets while we'll be making the project. The next die set is an Enchanted Forest. It's great not only for Christmas but can be used all year round. It is meant for layered scene building, and it can be used alone, or you can pair it with an embossing folder from the set. As you can see, they match perfectly. These products are also A5 size, and the die also has small tabs at both sides for creating dioramas. The next set is called Bring on the Dancers, and it has a lot of characters from the fairy tale. The dies are actually much larger than the picture shows. All these characters, except maybe a Mouse King and a Nutcracker doll, can be used for a number of different occasions all year round. And finally, a stamp set has a nice Nutcracker image, a ballet shoes, and a bunch of sentiments that are all about the Christmas and music and dancing, and a Nutcracker fairy tale too. Now let's start with the project. As I mentioned, you can create A5 size cards with those dies, but this time I'm going to combine them with my conservatory die set that is meant to create 8 by 8 dioramas. I have used the largest dies from this set to create this backdrop for my project, as well as the open frame for the front of the diorama. I will also need two sides. I've die cut them and I have already attached the double-sided tape to the tabs. Although I have used the same dies to create those two elements, the one of them has all the swirls cut out while the other one has them all in place, and this is how I did that. As you have probably noticed, the pressure in the die cutting machine is strongest in these areas around the sides of the cutting plate. So one time I place the die like that, and this way all the swirls are going to be cut out. But if you want to keep them in place, you can position the die like this, and this way they will have the less pressure and they will remain in place. And if they tend to fall out, you can always secure them with the washi tape. I've used the same die and I've die cut the same shape out of gold mirror cardstock, but this time I'm only going to use the swirls. I'm applying some liquid glue onto each of the swirly shapes. You can see them quite clearly, although they are not die cut completely. And then I'm going to position the matching gold piece on top of it. This is going to create some lovely dimension and contrast. I'm going to take my time and attach all the flourishes one by one using the liquid glue. Once I'm done, I'm going to set the frame aside and I'm going to start working on the backdrop for my stage. I'll be using the Nutcracker Scenery die set to recreate the room from the fairy tale. I'm going to die cut the largest image from white cardstock. I'm positioning my die over the piece of cardstock, and as you can see, you can use the windows to die cut negative shapes, and for this project I will only need the two. Now I'm going to secure the dies and send them through the die cutting machine. And this is what the project should look like at the moment. We have two windows die cut, and we also have a nice deeply embossed wall panels. Sometimes when you are working with large intricate dies, the die cuts can get a bit warped, but there is a simple trick to fix that. I'm just going to take this die cut to the ironing board and I'm going to flatten it out with the hot iron. Just don't forget to turn the steam off. Next, I'm going to use my paper trimmer and trim off the tabs from the side because I won't need them for this particular project. Next, I'm going to back up the windows with the 2 pieces of vellum. So now I'm applying some double-sided tape at the wrong side of the die cut, just around the windows. Now I'm going to attach the 2 pieces of vellum behind the windows, and then I'll have to reapply the double-sided tape so that I will be able to attach this entire piece onto the backdrop. I'm sticking down this panel onto my blue backdrop, lining up the bottom of the 2 pieces. There is some room left at the top of the project, but we'll deal with that later. To add a bit more color and texture to my project, I've die cut the same image out of baby blue cardstock, and now I'm going to use my scissors and cut out just the wall panel areas, the ones that are embossed. It's really easy to cut out since it's just the straight lines and right angles. Now I'm sticking down the wall panel onto the backdrop as well, and again I'm lining it up with the bottom of the project. And now it's time to add a nice large cupboard to my project, and this is exactly the reason why I left the central window uncut. I've die cut the cupboard image out of cream cardstock. There are some slits cut out in the die, and you can use these for embossing or for stenciling. Since I'm going to add a little bit of additional color, I'm going with the stenciling this time. I'm applying Antique Linen Distress Oxide ink right through the die using the mini sponge dauber. Now I am removing the die, and you can see that the image is transferred to the die cut. Now I'm also going to use the same ink and go all around the edges. You can use the darker ink if you want to make this cupboard your focal image and you need more contrast, but since it's just a backdrop here, I'm using a very soft ink. When the ink is dry, I have applied some double-sided foam tape at the back side of the cupboard, and I'm sticking it down in the center of my project. Now I'm going to set my backdrop aside and start working on the theater curtain. So I'm switching to another die set in the stage. This one has 2 large curtain dies as well as 2 stage light dies. All of them have tabs. You can do a lot of tricks with this die set. You can see those deep drape shapes embossed in the die, and if you sand the die through the machine as it is, you will have them completely die cut like this. You can use this die cut as is if you want to attach it directly onto the background. You can also back it up with a piece of paper, for instance this other shade of red, and this way you will have a color variation. But I'll do something different today. I'd like to teach you how you can just emboss the drapes instead of having them die cut. All you have to do is to attach some packaging tape at the wrong side of the paper. I'm using the brown tape here since this is what I had at hand, but you can totally use the clear one. Just don't use the washi tape or other kind of paper tape, since that one is not going to work. You need the plastic one. You can apply a double layer of tape, or you can overlap the strips of tape. You won't see it on a finished project. When the tape is attached, you just have to place your die over the paper and send it through the machine. This way you will have your outline die cut, but all the drapes will remain in place. In some places the die has cut through the paper but not through plastic. In this case you just help it with the scissors a little bit and the die cut is ready to go on the project. I've die cut 2 lambrequins as well as the large curtain exactly the same way using this technique. I have also die cut the stage lights out of black cardstock, and now I'm going to attach these ones at the top onto the curtain die cut. This curtain is going to be a complete separate layer of my diorama. I'm trimming off the tabs from the black die cut since the curtain already has the tabs on it. As for these footlight shells, I'm going to attach them right onto the front frame. So again, I'm trimming off the tabs, I'm applying some glue at the bottom of the frame and I'm sticking down the strip, lining up the bottom lines. This way the footlights will be showing just a little bit above the frame. Here I've die cut this bar again out of white cardstock this time. I'm trimming off the lights as well as the tabs from it and I'm going to attach it at the bottom of the curtain. I need this strip of paper to attach my dancers to. You can actually add a lot of layers inside the diorama since it's quite deep, but I have decided to go with just one because there's already a lot going on. Now I'm going to place the layers one on top of another to be able to see how they are going to look on a finished project. I'm also placing a frame on top, and here you can notice that there is a little empty space at the top of the project. And this is exactly why we need those lambrequins there. I'm going to attach them right onto the frame at the wrong side. So I'm applying some liquid glue and placing the frame over the curtain. Since the dies are meant to create a rectangular card, and here I am using the frame that's a bit irregular shape, I will have to use my scissors and trim off any excess. You can also use some pieces of tape to secure this die cut at the wrong side. I will also be adding another curtain layer to the frame, and this time I'm using the whole die cut. I'm applying a little bit of glue onto it and placing the frame on top like this. And now it is time to attach the focal images. I'm going to recreate the scene of fight of a Nutcracker and a Mouse King. So I've die cut the corresponding images out of black cardstock, and since I'm going to accentuate the swords, I've die cut those out of gold mirror cardstock, and now I'm going to trim off all the extra, only leaving the sword shapes. And then I'm going to attach those swords onto the black die cuts using the liquid glue. By the way, if you love coloring, you can die cut the images out of white paper and use your favorite coloring media to make them really realistic. But as I mentioned, I have already added a lot of elements to my diorama, so I think the black outlines will work just as fine. I'm also going to add a little golden crown to the Mouse King image. The character dies also have some cutout lines for embossing, but since embossing doesn't show too well on black, I have decided to go with the stenciling instead. I'm using my white gel pen and I'm simply drawing through the slits on the die. If you want to make the lines thicker, you can go over them one more time after you remove the die. Then I'm going to use the same technique on a prince image as well. And now I'm going to attach both images onto the curtain layer. As I'm doing this, I'm trying to attach them not only to the strip at the bottom, but also to the curtain. And this way they're going to be really secure and they will not lean forwards or backwards. I'm also going to add a drop of glue onto the swords as well, just at the point where they cross. Now all 3 layers of my diorama card are finished and I'm ready to put it together. I'm starting by attaching the sides to the front frame. I'm peeling off the liner from one of the tabs on the sides and then I'm attaching a front frame to it. It's very convenient to use the grid on your cutting mat to line up the pieces. And then I'm going to remove exactly the same process on the other side. The next layer I'm going to attach is the mid layer, so I will have to apply some double-sided tape onto the tabs first. Then I'm going to attach those tabs to the sides of the diorama on the inside, and I just have to make sure I'm attaching them at the same distance from the front. Again, I'm just using the grid on my cutting mat. The last layer to attach is the backdrop. Now I'm peeling off the liner from the sides and I'm going to line up the side and the backdrop. Now the 2 sides are next to each other and the tab is facing upwards. So all I have to do now is to unfold that tab and press it against the background. And then I'm going to attach the very last tab and my project is finished. This diorama is actually much easier to put together than it seems because it's a basic box. And this is what the finished project looks like. I hope I have given you some ideas on how you can use the dies from the Nutcracker collection to recreate the scenes from this beautiful Christmas ballet. Although this diorama is quite deep, it can be folded completely flat and you can send it in an A4 envelope or an 8.5 by 11 envelope. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again really soon.
Isn't that absolutely fabulous? And she's magical. She is Mrs. Magic herself. That was Olga Directorenko there. Of course, the designer of the fantastic paper discovery elements. Now, I get to play with these items. So I have a demonstration for you myself that I'm going to show you how I like to play with these. And then we're going to go back and see another shorter demonstration from Olga. So what I'm going to be using is the Creative Castle. Now, if you're just joining us, please make sure you are tagging your friends. Please make sure you're hitting that arrow, that share button at the bottom of the video to make sure your friends know that you're watching and know that there's some prizes up for grabs. Of course, 3 of you, as always, are going to win a selection of the new products. You're going to win a selection of the Nutcracker Collection today. We will be announcing those winners at the end of this hour, which will be around about 2 o'clock. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We have some other amazing deals as well, which I will talk about whilst I'm demonstrating. So let's take a look down on my craft desk here. I'm going to be using the Creative Castle collection. You just saw Olga was using the Nutcracker collection. This one is the other one that we're going to see from her in a moment. Now, the die set that I'm going to be using of hers is the actual castle. So this one here. Now, I have to say, we want to put all of the die elements on the packaging. There's 19 dies in total in this particular set, okay? But they are not to scale. They are nowhere near to scale. When you start looking at elements like this, and when you start looking at, this is part of the lantern, but there's elements such as the turrets there, you can see the scale that we're looking at. You really can make some large projects, but coming down, let's take a look at this card that the lovely Linda has created. You can really scale these elements down as well to make cards. So 6 by 6 cards, absolutely. Smaller gift boxes, this is the lantern again, but smaller gift boxes if you want to. Do you know what? There's so much you can do with this. So versatile this set is. Card making, home decor, just for fun as well. Gift boxes, you're going to love it. So I've already cut everything out from this, so I didn't need to squeeze a die cutting machine onto my desk as well. But I've cut this panel first. So this is the large one that's going to cut the large towers, okay? It is tall, but you can absolutely trim this down to the height that you need it. And probably my favourite part of the whole collection is this brickwork. It's like an embossing panel, but it creates the most amazing brickwork inside. You just run that through your die cutting machine. It does fit into the die, so you can take that down and run that through at the same time as you are cutting. You then need to repeat it on the other side. So I've cut 2 of these and I've glued them together with the tab. Hopefully you can just about see that tab there. So I've got my 4 layers. Now on 3 of these I've got the embossing. This one's going to be the back one, so we don't need to worry about that one. What I've also cut is one of the gates. Well, 2 of the gates already, but here's one for you. Now I need to show you these gate dies. Okay, this is the elegant gates. They are so pretty. You have 2 options. You have the 2 large ones. Look at the detail in them. Aren't they beautiful? Absolutely stunning. And then we've got the smaller gates as well. So you've got the choice of either or. Now these do stay within your cardstock. As you can see by the edge there, they don't completely come away. So they give you the ability to have that hinge built into your crafting, so you don't need to worry about how am I going to attach these beautiful gates. So you can actually have them, there's a score line down there, you can have them as a working gate if you want to. You can glue them down. So they are those. That's what I've used for these, just in black. Now attaching these to my card, I have a card base which is essentially a large piece of black cardstock. It's not a card base, as you can see, it's just a flat piece of black cardstock. I've got a background. Now the background is from a different collection. It's Daisy May. So the Daisy May, I think it was the Village Green collection, I believe. A paper pad from there, an 8x8 paper pad. So you can gauge the size of this card. It's going to be about 8x8, just over there. So I'm just going to pop that down. Now this is going to be from the front of the inside of the front castle gates looking out, okay? So we're going to put a tower on each side. Now here's one tower that I've already built up. And I'm just going to show you how I put this together. Okay, so I have my gate and I have my tower sides. And like I say, I've got one side there that is plain because that's going to glue onto the back. Now before I put this together, I want to just pop in here my gate first of all. So I'm just going to glue that by this side panel here. This is the bit that didn't come away when I was die cutting. I need to snip it away if you want it to be separate, but it does make things much easier for you if that's already there. So just using a little bit of wet glue, making sure that's nice and straight, and gluing that to there, ready for when I close this up. That will all be encased in there and make a nice neat finish. Let me just lift that up for you so you can see, and the same for this one there. And then I also want to have some turrets on the top of this, as you can see. Now these are individual pieces that you can die cut. They do have tabs on them, so you can easily glue them in. And when you put the 4 together, you can see you make the cube. So I'm going to do the cube in just a moment, but I'm actually going to attach them to the inside of my tower before I fold them round. So just a little bit of glue, wet glue there on the tabs, and then sticking them on to the tower like so. So wet glue is great with the cardstock. It dries quick enough. Particularly I'm using Cosmic Shimmer here. There's so many different ones that you can use, of course. Loads. One of my favourites actually at the moment, which I've just run out of, I've just squeezed the last bit out, is the Sizzix Express glue. Absolutely love that glue. That's available on CraftStash. In fact, talking about available on CraftStash, there's so much going on this week. There always is, isn't there? We have got offers galore. Now, the first one is a Paper Discovery offer. Now, Paper Discovery have the brand new 2 collections, which we're showing you now. If you're spending over £30, pop in the code NEWPD. If you missed this code, it's scrolling along the bottom of the screen, so make sure you jot that down. Pop that in at checkout and you're going to get 20% off by spending over £30. Really, really simple. So I've just joined another die there that's included in the set. I've just joined 2 of those together, making sure they are long enough to stretch across my 2 towers, and I'm just going to pop those in like so. I'll tell you about some more offers in a moment. There's always offers. Just make sure that when these are placed on the cardstock that they're going to fit in perfectly. So there's one. Then I'm just going to apply some glue here, line these up and pop the other side on. So just looking there, just make sure this one's straight here as well. You can have so much fun with these. Do you know what? This is perfect for children. This is perfect for anyone who loves their history as well. My daughter's a massive history buff. Anyone who loves fairies and fairy tales, just holding that there, just gluing that. Perfect. Now, these two are joined together. I need to be careful. I'm just going to run some glue along here and bring that tower round to complete that tower, okay? So, also on CraftStash, we have the brand new Gemini Midi die cutting machine. I will show you some pictures of that in a minute. It's really, really exciting. It's a 6" by 9" cutting plate that is now available to pre-order. As you know, with Gemini machines, they do sell out extremely quickly. Make sure you get your pre-order in now. And if you're ordering on CraftStash today, you are going to get a free die. The die is from Paper Discovery to celebrate the launch of the new collections and the launch of the new Gemini machine. So Paper Discovery die, it is beautiful. It's called Time to Celebrate. I'm just going to bring that in while I'm holding my glue here. That's the die that you're going to get for free when you pre-order that Gemini Midi. And that includes the Gemini Midi bundles as well. So that also includes them. So make sure you are ordering that very quickly if you're thinking about upgrading your machine, or if you're thinking about getting your very first machine, this would be perfect. Right, so I've now got, as you can see, it's just standing up there. I've now got my castle. I've got all of my embossing in it. I've got the gates on there. Somehow in transit, I've caught that gate, but I'll fix that in a moment. And I'm just going to run some glue down the 2 edges of this piece of card. Okay, the idea is that I want these 2 towers to completely flatten. So I could pop this in the post to someone in a flat envelope and they can open it when they are ready and have it standing very proud on the mantelpiece, hopefully. I'm sure they will. Anyone's going to love receiving cards like this, aren't they? There we go. So just putting my fingers inside here just to press that down. Okay. Now, if I just test out that theory, there we go. Everything is flattening down beautifully. You may need to get a burnisher or a scoring tool and just flatten through your creases to make sure, but that will all flatten down nicely. Now, one last thing I need to do, well, 2 last things actually. I nearly missed the window on the other side. It needs to be symmetrical. I'm just popping a little window. This is all included in the die set. Little windows, there's lots of embellishments. This is just working with the creative castle and the beautiful elegant gates. I'm just going to run some yellow ink inside there to make it look as if that is a window. You could put, just like Olga did, she put some beautiful vellum behind her windows in her diorama. You could do that as well here. So I'm just about keeping up with your comments, everyone. Thank you so much. You're all absolutely loving Olga's new products. I'm so pleased. They are beautiful. So far I've got my castle. The last thing I need to do is add one of the fairies. Now, the fairy stamps are stunning. I have stamped this with a VersaFine, I think it was, onto, I might have stamped it with stays on actually, onto a parchment or a vellum. I've actually coloured in the reverse there because the colour shows through and you still keep the detail of the stamp. I've then cut around that and I've separately stamped the wings. These are all in the Creative Castle stamp sets. You'll find those on CraftStash. There's 2 to choose from, a wintry Christmas theme and a magical theme with the stars. The wings I've just heat embossed in silver there. So I just need to attach the wings to the back here, and that's made much easier because you've got the colouring pencil in the back, so you haven't got to worry about the glue showing through. And I love that she's in parchment as well, in vellum. You get that sort of translucent look to her that you'd expect with something a bit magical. You'd expect like a glow around her or something, wouldn't you? So that's her, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here, so she is just hovering above the gates of the castle. She could be welcoming you in. Just there, like I say, I have just caught at some point the gate there, but that's okay, that's holding it itself. So there's that castle. Thank you so much for all your comments. I'm just keeping an eye on them as they're coming through. That's one of my takes on the Creative Castle set, and like I say, this will all flatten down completely. If you want to store it, so you can make one for Christmas, one for Halloween, one for birthdays, even just make them for the children to play with. When you start bringing in other elements, for example, such as these, building up your tower, they're going to look phenomenal. Have a look on craftstash.co.uk and have a look at the images under the products, because you're going to be able to see some amazing pictures there. So just a few more examples for you. We've got this lovely card. I believe Linda Parker created this. Again, it will flatten down if you want it to, but that's a much smaller version. And here's one I made yesterday with the gates there. And you can see I've used that embossing panel in the background for the brickwork, and I've got the gates, the fairy, a really nice pop-up card that again folds flat. And then coming back to the diorama very quickly, we've got beautiful images. Now, Pauline Hickey and Linda Parker have been so busy with these. They have absolutely loved playing with this. I can tell by the examples. They've done a phenomenal job. That is from the Nutcracker Collection. That ballerina is beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. Okay, there's my demonstrating done for the day. But we have another demonstration from the lovely Olga. So before we pop to that, I just need to remind you, we've got the Gemini Machine on pre-order. Please don't miss out on that. In fact, I can show you a picture of that just now. Just bear with me while I get those up for you. So you can see the Gemini Machine there is absolutely beautiful. It's going to take you 6" by 9" dies, and that's why we are giving you a free die when you are pre-ordering this today. You can pre-order it again in a bundle with like a carry case and things as well, and you'll still get that free die too. So don't miss out on that. So that's your Gemini Midi. You'll see it everywhere in the craft world very, very soon. We are one of the first people, of course, on CraftStash to get hold of it. So pre-order yours now really, really quickly. Another thing is we've got the new Ranger Distress Ink colour. So it's the Rustic Wilderness. It's absolutely beautiful. A stunning, stunning green colour. We have the inks, the oxides, the paints, the sprays. You name it, we've got it all. We've even got the embossing powder and things as well. I cannot wait to start getting you some projects up online to be able to see what you can make with that gorgeous colour. But we have amazing bundles for those. Do you want another demonstration? I'm sure you do. We've got time to squeeze in just one more. Olga has made another project for us using the Creative Castle collection. So take a look at this one.
Hi there and welcome back. In this video I'll be showing you how you can easily turn a jar into a holiday lantern using some of the products from my new Creative Castle collection. I'll be using a die set called Elegant Gates, and I'm also going to need a stamp set that has a bunch of winter fairy images. Of course, I'm also going to need a jar. You can use any jar you don't need anymore, or it can be a cylinder-shaped glass too. Here I have a piece of vellum that I trimmed down to be just slightly taller than my jar, and this way it's gonna be hidden completely. I will also be using a piece of cardstock that is exactly the same size as my vellum. Now let's do some heat embossing. I'm treating the entire surface of the vellum with the anti-static powder tool. Then I'm stamping the walking fairy image with the Versamark ink, and then I'm going to apply some black embossing powder. Since this lantern has a glass jar inside, it can be used both with the electric-driven tea light and with a real candle. If you are planning to use a real candle, then go with a permanent black ink instead of the embossing powder. The flame can warm up the jar just a tiny bit, but that will be enough to melt the powder. I am now heat setting the powder, and then I'm going to add a few snowflakes from the same set. There is also a holly leaf corner stamp in this set that I'm going to clip apart to create two separate holly garlands. I have stamped them along the bottom of my composition to kind of ground up my fairy, and then I'm going to use the green marker to color in the leaves. Then I'm also going to use both red and green markers to color in the fairy's dress. I'm not going for any shadings or any advanced techniques. I'm simply filling in the areas with one solid color. To color her skin, I'm using Tattered Rose Distress Marker. And this is what the finished colored image looks like. Now I have to wrap the vellum around the jar and stick it down. Here comes a little problem though. The tape adhesive is really convenient and it grabs instantly, but it tends to come off over time sometimes, especially when you are using it with non-porous materials like vellum. The liquid glue is really strong though, but it takes a bit longer to dry and you will have to hold down the paper all this time. The solution to this problem is really simple. You just have to use both. I'm applying one strip of tape adhesive and some liquid glue around it. The tape will hold down the paper for you while the liquid glue dries, and then the liquid glue will hold it in place permanently. We could actually call the lantern done at this point, but I have decided to add one more interesting detail, and for this I'll be using one of the dies from Elegant Gates die set. There are two gates included, the smaller one and the big one. I'll be going with the big one this time. I'm placing the two dies side by side right in the center of my strip of cardstock, and I'm leaving a border at the bottom that is about 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to send the dies through the machine. This is going to create the very intricate gates that are opening in the center and are attached at both sides. For this project, I'm going to remove the thin bar between the two halves of the gate, and I'm also going to use my grid mat and a metallic ruler to trim down the entire piece to the height of the gate like this. I'm lining up the ruler at the 2 points where the fold line and the cutting line meet, and then I'm using the craft knife. This is the result that we should get. Since my cardstock is rather thick, I'm using a marker. You can use any rounded object to kind of curl up the two sides at both sides of the gate. If you are using pattern paper or any thinner cardstock, you might well skip this step. I'm going to use exactly the same technique that I used for vellum to adhere the two ends of cardstock, that is using both the tape runner and the liquid glue. Now I'm putting this entire piece over the jar that is already covered with the vellum. You can leave the gates completely open like this, or you can leave them just slightly open. For this we are applying just a tiny bit more glue and I'm attaching them onto the vellum as well. Our lantern is completely finished now. All we have to do is to place a tea light inside. As I mentioned before, since we have glass between the paper and the flame, you can also use the real candle. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be publishing more videos featuring the new products, so stay tuned for those. Bye bye!
Bye-bye sounded like a bit like a robot there, so I don't know what happened. I apologise if you couldn't hear her properly, but you can certainly see the beautiful demonstration. So That is 3 demonstrations. I do have for you some winners' names to shout out in a moment. Just a very quick reminder, we have been launching, first of all, the brand new Creative Castle collection from Paper Discovery today. It is stunning. If you've just joined us and you missed the beginning where we went through the products, please do catch up on YouTube. We're always over there. You can go and watch this again on YouTube later. You can always watch us on CraftWorld, and you can always watch us live on Facebook as well. We've also been launching today the brand new Nutcracker Collection. So that's stamp sets, that's embossing folders, beautiful scenery dies, so you can build up your own scenes to create images from that fantastic Nutcracker play, which is so beautiful. So we've got all of those as well. We have had some amazing examples from the design team. Thank you so much to those who have made projects for us. You can see them all around me. They are absolutely beautiful. Thank you as well to Olga for joining us too. So you can see across the bottom of the screen, we have a code for you. Now this code is for 20% off of Paper Discovery if you're spending over £30, and that's on craftstash.co.uk. Pop that code in at checkout. The code there is now coming along. It's NEWPD. NEWPD. Pop that in at checkout. You'll get your 20% off of all of the new products that you're throwing in your basket. But talking of new products, we have the Gemini Midi. We are giving away this Paper Discovery die. In fact, I need to take this out to show you. Look at the size of it. It is stunning, and I have checked that does go through the 6x9 inch plates on that Gemini Midi. It is a manual machine. You're going to absolutely love it. We do have it individually and as bundles over on CraftStash. Check that out. With either or, you're going to get your free die there. It's now on pre-order, so if you are ordering anything else that is in stock right now, make sure you do separate orders to make sure that your items in stock are not waiting with your pre-order to be delivered. We also have the brand new Tim Holtz, the rustic wilderness colours. We have all of the inks, the oxides, the sprays and everything. They are all in stock. Please make sure you check them out because we've got fantastic deals. And we have a deal of the day. It's a Sue Wilson die set. The details have been going across the bottom of the screen. It's the snowflake background set. That is down from $15.99 down to $11.99. That is a saving of 25%. If you love Sue Wilson dies, if you can say it, if you love Sue Wilson dies, please check that out. Okay, do we want some winners' names? Let's see. Let's open my phone up. So first of all, we have 2 winners from here on Facebook. I say here, I'm here on both. From on Facebook. So the first winner is, oh, I've got to find her name now. Found the names. Where are you? There we are. We have Sherry Chapman. Congratulations, you are going to win a selection of the Nutcracker dies. And we also have Kay Rossano. Congratulations to you as well. Both of you are watching on Facebook. Now we have the next winner watching over on CraftWorld. So if you're watching over there, crossing fingers. We have, now I've spoken to you before, I know I have, with the handle, it's Fifi Stamper. Congratulations, you have also won a selection of these goodies. If all of you can either send myself a message or send CraftStash on the Facebook page a message, we will get those prizes out to you. We do need your postal address for that. So at the weekend, of course, we have some fantastic things coming up over on CraftWorld. We have, as always, our Super Saturday 6. So these offers are amazing. So check those out every Saturday morning. They are up for you. We have next Tuesday, I have my What's Hot Live, of course. We have also on Tuesday, I think it's at 12 o'clock. I'll double check that, but always check the schedule. We have fantastic Sarah Gray. She's going to be creating with brand new funky fossil products, stencils and things. You're going to love that. Make sure you catch her live and make sure you comment to be in with a chance of maybe winning something. We'll see if she'll give something away. Got to ask her about that first, haven't I? But we are going to be here all week on CraftWorld. Fantastic lives, pre-recorded videos. We've got tutorials. We've got inspiration. So the last thing you need to do is go over to CraftWorld because I have a massive bundle to give away to you, okay? Something like this, all of this. You can only win it by going over to CraftWorld. That's your last chance to win today. Pop over to craftworld.com. If you've not signed up again, it's already completely free. All you need to do is pop in an email address and your password, sign up, enter that competition. You're good to go, and I'll hopefully be announcing a winner next week. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for joining myself and Olga, and I will see you again very soon. Have a fabulous weekend.